Grow up, Donald. Grow up. Time to be an adult. You're president. You got to do something. Show us what you have.
With a shift from the Obama era to the Trump era on January 20th, we're clearly in for a huge change in leadership styles. Obama is cool, measured, and unflappable. Trump is loud and confrontational. So what does that mean for the country? Let's bring in media and political analyst and my friend Steve Adubato, author of the great new book, Lessons in Leadership. And boy, do you have great timing, Steve, because you actually wrote this book before it was known that Donald Trump would be president of the United States. And you assess him and his characteristics of leadership or not. Give us your assessment.
First of all, great to be with you, Joy.
Thank you.
I assessed him. I assessed President Obama. I assessed Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. I looked at all of the people who were in public life and asked, what does it take to be a great leader? I also looked at people in private life, people in religious life, nonprofit life. And I had to say, when I wrote this about Donald Trump, I said, look, this is not on ideology. It's not even on politics. It's on temperament. It's on demeanor. This was in the middle of the campaign when he was calling people names, when he said those things about a war hero like a Republican, John McCain, when he was saying things about the Khan family. I thought, he doesn't have the temperament. He doesn't have the demeanor. He doesn't have the discipline as a communicator. That was before he said the things about Machado, who was in a Miss Universe contest.
Yeah.
That's before the crazy tweets about Russia, about Assange. I have to tell you, I was hoping and praying, and I still am, that he has some of the leadership traits to be a good president. But from what I see, his temperament, his demeanor, his me-first mentality, that he actually goes on Twitter and attacks Arnold Schwarzenegger on The Celebrity Apprentice. Think about that, folks. He's actually saying, with all the problems we have in the world, with all the issues we have, I'm going to make it clear that my ratings were better than this guy when I was doing the show. That means his priorities are off. That's not ideological or political. That means his demeanor, his temperament, his ego is off track.
And he's undermining his own show because he's the executive producer of The Apprentice. So it's still his show. I mean, well, so we showed Joe Biden at the top of this.
And when Joe's giving you advice.
And there you go. And so,
who was not a particularly disciplined leader, let's just say that.
Exactly. Well, that's the question, though. So Joe Biden is a great case study. He's not a particularly disciplined communicator. He's fun. He's Joe, right? But he still manages in the moment when he's needed. He can go and negotiate in the Senate, do the work of the Obama administration. He's able to meet the test of seriousness when it counts. Why is it that Donald Trump doesn't seem to be able to be both, be himself, but also embody the characteristics that we typically want in a president?
I always tell people my doctorate is not in psychology. It's in the neighborhood, but it's not. So that would mean I would have to try to get inside his head. I'm going to say this. Here's what I think. I don't know this for sure. I believe a lot of it is hubris and arrogance. It's the inability to say, you know what, I was wrong. I didn't handle this well. So when the intelligence community, Joy, comes to him and says, look, we have concrete evidence that this is what the Russians did. This is what their intent was in terms of the election. What he says was, you know what? It had nothing to do with the results, and we still need to get along with Russia. That has nothing to do with what the report says. So here's my point. My point is that his arrogance and his hubris and his me-first ego mentality doesn't even allow him to look at the facts and say, you know something? I was wrong about this. His inability to admit his mistakes quickly, unless he's forced, is a leadership problem. And I will tell you, he's not even president yet. My fear, my concern, my hope and prayer is that he gains some humility and some ability to step back and say, you know what, I need to take a closer look at myself and be more introspective.
Very quickly, and this is great, I really recommend it because this is a moment when it is a great leadership test, and we keep hearing people say the office changes the man. You did evaluate not just Trump, but Barack Obama and other people who have been in tests of leadership. What do you expect a president to do as a leader? What are the key characteristics of presidential leadership in your view?
Okay, I will say this, and by the way, I was not particularly
I mean, you're talking leadership in life, too.
Yeah, I would say this. It was mixed about President Obama. I thought he was measured, he was strategic, he was reasoned, but I thought he took too long to act in certain things. But I'll just say this. It's measured. It's not an exact science, Joy. It's complicated. Those of us who lead make mistakes all the time. The greatest thing you can find in a leader is the ability to trust the people around him or her, but also challenge them and challenge him or herself and be introspective and say, I'm a lifelong learner. I'm going to admit my mistakes. I'm going to learn from them, but I'm not going to have the arrogance to simply say I'm right and blame other people. That's the fear I have about Trump. I don't know if he can turn it around. He's 70 years old.
The book is Lessons in Leadership by my friend Steve Adubato. PhD, by the way. We're going to give you your honorific because you earned it. Sir, thank you so much for being here, my friend. People need to read this book. Maybe Donald Trump. Send him a copy.
I will. He might send it back. Great to be here.
He's not a big reader, I'm told, but, you know, one can hope. All right, at the top of the hour, the president-elect and the press, how the media can keep Trump in check. Can the media keep Trump in check? That's next. Thank you.